Hey kids, do you know what this is called? I call it a scary, but other people call it a unicycle. Do you know why it's called a unicycle? Well, cycle is something that rides like a bike. Uni means one, it's a one-wheeled bike. What do you think other bikes are called? Let's go and have a look, I've got something to show you. Come with me, come. Alright, here's my unicycle. What's this one here called? Do you know? It's called a bicycle. Two. Bicycle, 2 wheels. What's this one called? Oh, the little purple one on the ground. All our kids have ridden this, all 5 of them. What's this one called? Well, it's called, I'm going to have to sit down, I'm puffing. A tricycle, 3 wheels. I hope you got that right. 3 wheels, tricycle. It's really cool. Which one do you think would be easier for you to ride? Do you think you could ride this one here? Probably most of you can. Some might not be able to. Or it's going to fall over. Do you think you can ride the scary? Probably not. It's really tricky, really tricky. Do you think you could ride the tricycle? Well, even I can ride the tricycle. It's easy. Anyone can ride it. Most people can ride it, sorry. It's easier because it's got 3 wheels. 3 wheels are easier than one. Shall I take this helmet off? There we go. There's a part in the Bible that talks about more being better than less, or 3 being better than 1. There's 2 parts that I want to tell you about. The first one is in Exodus chapter 17, and I've got my Bible here with me. But it's the story about the nation of Israel, and they were on a wilderness adventure, a compulsory wilderness adventure. They were going out to go to a whole new land, and there was a whole nation. But the problem is, there was someone attacking them, and they were nasty. They were called the Amalekites, and so they kept following their walk and just picking them off, just getting rid of them, hurting them, and not being very nice at all. And so Moses, the leader of Israel, said to his deputy leader, Joshua, look, I want you to try and have a fight with them. And Joshua is going, well, we're not a fighting nation. We've been slaves for years and years and years. We've got no army, we've got no tanks, we've got no guns, we've got no horses, we've got nothing. We've got no shields, we've got no spears. But Moses said, look, I want you to fight them anyway. And Moses said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up the top of a mountain and get God to help us. So Moses and Aaron and Hur went up the top of the mountain. This is in Exodus chapter 17. He went up the top of the mountain and he lifted, I don't know if my arms are sweaty, but he lifted his hands up high in the air. Can you guys do that? Lift your hands up high. See how long you can hold them while still concentrating though, eh? He lifted his hands up high in the air, and as long as his hands were lifting up high in the air, Joshua was winning the battle. He was winning the fight. But the problem with Moses' hands in the air, I'll get these gloves off, is they were getting tired, and Moses was going, oh. Joshua was winning the fight while they're up, but then Moses said, I've got to take a break. And then Joshua and the Israelites started losing the fight against the Amalekites. And so 2 men came up with a plan. They grabbed a huge rock and they put it on the ground, and they said to Moses, sit down on the rock, stop standing up, and now try holding your hands. He says, oh, that's better. But they still kept coming down, and so these 2 guys, one guy's name was a funny name, his name was Hur. Imagine a him being named Hur. Anyway, that was his name, and the other guy was Aaron, and they came and they lifted Moses' arms up, and they stood up beside him, holding his hands up in the air like that. Hopefully you can see that, if not I'm going to sit down. But they held his hands up close to their body, and the whole time they were winning the fight, they were winning the battle, because Moses managed to keep his hands up. So, could Moses have won that battle on his own? No. Could Joshua have won the battle on his own? No. They needed God, they needed Moses, they needed Joshua, but also they needed these other 2, the wheels of the tricycle, Aaron and Hur, to come and help them do it. There's a saying that 3 are better than 1. In fact, I can find it for you because I've already got it in my bookmark in Ecclesiastes. It's chapter 4, verse 8. There was a man all alone, and he had neither son nor brother. You got it? A man alone, no son, no brother, no family by the sounds of it. and there was no end to all his work. Yet his eyes were not contented with his mouth, with his wealth. Sorry, not his mouth. He had lots of money because he worked hard, but he didn't have anyone to spend it on, and he was pretty upset. And he said to himself, "This is a meaningless and miserable business that I'm in." And then it goes on in verse 9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labour. Then it says that if one of them falls down, the other one can help them back up and keep going. Or if one of them gets cold, the other one can come in close and give them a bit of a hug to keep warm. And verse 12, the final one I'm going to read, though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. 3 are better than 1. And I wonder if you can think about that. What does that mean? 3 are better than 1. Well, I've got a piece of string here somewhere. I think Laura put it right up the top. Oh, a piece of wool. Here's some things for you to do. How strong is my bit of wool? Well, I haven't tried this yet, so we'll see. Oh, not very strong. How strong are 3 bits of wool? Let's just try. I've got to break 3. There we go. It doesn't feel like very strong wool, but let's try. I think I might be able to break these 3, but it's... I think I probably could, but I'm not going to. It's a lot harder though, isn't it? I wonder if you can take 3 bits of wool, and do you know how to plait or to braid? You try and braid your 3 together and break them, but maybe you want to add in more and more to look after it. What does this all mean for us? What does it mean for you and me today, that 3 are better than 1? Well, it means that we need to have more than one person in our life. Life needs to be more about than just about ourselves. So I want you to choose some friends and make them really good, close friends so that they can help you when you're struggling, when you're sad, or when you need to talk things through. They can be your parents, but also try some friends your own age. And there's some things you can do. Why don't you just thank a friend? Why don't you make Jesus your best friend? He will help you all the time. You don't even need to lift your hands up. All you need to do is talk to him. Just pray to him and say, Jesus, can you help me? Or Father, can you help me? Or Holy Spirit, can you help me? Even God's 3, isn't he? Holy Spirit, Father and Son. They're 3. 3 is better than 1. Also, one more thing. To get a good friend, you've got to be a good friend. And I'd encourage you to be a kind and good friend. How do you do that? Well, after the adults talk, after your parents watch their adults talk, they're going to get some ideas on how to be a good friend with other people, some one another's, how to help one another. And so why don't you ask them, Mum, Dad, how do I be a really good friend? Can you guys do that? Choose a good friend, be a good friend, because 3 is far better than 1. Okay, I've got one more activity for you to do as homework. This one is a game. I want you to get a friend or a family member, because you're probably at home with your family, and I want you to get your hands up like this and have your friends place a book on your hand. Hands like that, and see if you can balance it. All right, and then what they're going to do is they're going to add one more book, 2 more books, and then they're going to keep going until it's 5. See how many you can get. A photo would be great, but 5, 10, 15, 20. Can you get 50 books held up like that? It's going to get heavy and it's going to get hard and it's going to get, tippy. Then have another try and see how many books you can get if not just your friend helps you put your books on top, but if they also help you hold it at the same time, if they stand up beside you. So see how many you can get on your hands. And that'll help you remember that 2 or 3 people can do far more than 1 person. So I trust and pray that you've been encouraged by Moses and Aaron and Hur and Joshua, that they work together, that God always orchestrates or gets people to work better together. And we'll see you next week. Man, I hope we'll be together, but if not, we'll see you online somehow, somewhere. Okay, bless you all. Bye.